some people that would be in favor of the calories in, calories out will say, well, you've just proved it because you're eating less and you've got a better health outcome. But I mean, I think the nuance behind this is, what about satiety has this big role in what you intake, and then also the nutrition is going to affect a little bit what our caloric expenditure looks like to some degree, whether it's more protein, with a thermic effect, whether it's debatable whether carbs or fat, cause differential energy expenditure. That's still back. That's pretty well, very, 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 very hotly contested still. There's people like David Ludwig, which would adamantly say that there seems to be an effect, and he's done many, many studies that would support that, at least to some degree. And there's people that criticize that. What do you eat day to day? What does it look like? Just out of curiosity, are you eating a plant-based, high-fat diet? Are you eating an animal-based food?
No,
What's going on there?
not really. I think as time has gone by, I've eaten more eggs, steak. So we'll have chicken as well. But the focus is always where's the protein on the plate. I'm one of the things that we always, when we're trying to help others, is you sort of tell them it's not all about salads. Because I think traditionally that's what people think when they're going on a diet, that they need to eat salads. But actually, it's if you're focusing, or what we try to help them with is say, is if you're focusing on those types of foods that are going to keep you fuller for longer, you're going to make it a lot easier for yourself. So, lunch today was a whole bunch of eggs. So I had 5 eggs for lunch, which I love. So that wasn't an issue. And then tonight, I know I've got a bit of steak in the fridge, so I'll have that, and I might have cut up some celeriac with it, make it into like little celeriac chips. To go with it. So yeah, that typically those are kind of the foods that I would eat on a fairly regular basis. I wouldn't say we would always have steak every night, but it's going to be around the meat or fish and eggs, that type of thing.
Do you have any concerns with, and I keep seeing, and maybe I just see the propaganda or the inflammatory headlines coming out of the UK, and it's like, we're gonna, force it. I see in Ireland they're trying to get rid of 1 million head of cattle or livestock, to meet their climate targets, and they're really
Mm.
pushing you to stop eating meat. And do you have concerns because that is what you're eating that is providing you with better health, and if they were to take that away from you, you'd be probably in a worse situation from your own health point. Do you have any concerns about that, or do you feel like
Oh
that's a
God, yeah.
realistic thing? Yeah.
Absolutely, because I think the trouble is that once again we're pointing our finger at the thing that we feel is the right thing to do, but actually it's going to lead to worse health outcomes. I can't see how it wouldn't. This is something that ancestrally we've eaten, for years and years and years, thousands of years. So why would, if we took that away, why would suddenly our health improve and just went to plants? I can't see how that will change anything except leading us more to eating processed foods. And for me, that really is a big problem. It's a massive problem in the UK. I'm no doubt. Obviously, you've got the same sort of issues in the US as well, where so many people are just eating processed and just buying packets of this and not really eating the real foods. And I think if we focus on having a real food diet, did this food walk in a field? Did it swim in the sea? Uh, and did it grow? If you can have a mix of that type of thing, I don't think you're going to go too far. Wrong. But for me, it's the process, the ultra processed foods, and the things that are packing out our supermarkets. These foods that clearly aren't real, but most people think they are.
Yeah, I liken that to human pet food, and I think that is, real analogy of the state of our pets eat similar food, and they all get fat and diabetic, and, the humans do the same thing. Tell me a little bit about the Public Health Collaborative, in the UK and your role in that, how you got involved in that, and you said you were an ambassador and you presented in front of someone. How did that evolve?
Uh, well, I mean, I think once I'd uh, uh, managed to put my diabetes into remission, one of the things that you feel is that you want to stand on a rooftop and start shouting it out and saying, look, there's so many other people out there that must be like me, that are desperately trying to do something about the diabetes, and feel that it's almost like a worthless cause. You're just never going to get anywhere. So I wanted to, with my new increased energy and enthusiasm, I wanted to try and do something and give something back. So I approached local papers and local TV, and radio, and managed to sort of share my story and get other people interested as well, which was wonderful. But at the same time, you start looking online and you realize there's a whole huge amount of people out there that have started to do something very, very, very similar. And it was all pointing towards the charity in the UK, the Public Health Collaboration. And they were having a conference in 2017, a few months after I'd gone through the remission. And I thought, I'm going to go. I mean, it was in the north of England, but I thought, I know I won't know anybody, but I'm looking at some of the people that are going to be talking here. And I thought, well, this will be a wonderful thing to get involved in. So I went up there and I had the absolute privilege to have a moment with Dr. David Unwin, and have a chat with him. And you could see, there were doctors there were nurses that have been doing incredible work with their patients, and there were a lot of patients as well that really wanted to try and give something back and help others. And so it was kind of a natural thing that when this ambassador program came out within the PHC, that we had the opportunity then to offer our sort of expert patient way with local surgeries. So it was an opportunity to start almost networking with other surgeries and sort of saying, right, we might be able to help you. We might be able to help some of your patients. Not always easy, because obviously, as you know, there's still quite a bit of resistance to this way of eating because of the Eat Well guidance. But there are enough people out there that would really welcome it and welcome the opportunity to use people like us. So these sort of ambassadors that were up and down the UK that were volunteering their time to get involved and help people. And I always thought, well, the best way to do that is to get involved with as many events locally as I can. So when there was an NHS diabetes conference locally, I would go along, I'd do a talk, I'd get invited to do different bits and pieces at different times. And I really sort of got for it. I really enjoyed it. And you start to hear that other people are getting a bit of success from that as well. And of course, it's that knock-on effect, and they want to help other people, and so on and so forth. So the Public Health Collaboration, the Ambassador Program, has just got stronger and stronger as more and more people have either helped turn someone else's life around, or they've turned their own life around, and they want to give something back.